The fluorescent lights of the mess hall buzzed like angry hornets, casting harsh shadows across the steel tables where 15 fresh-faced recruits, cocky, loud, and fresh off their first week of boot camp, formed a tight circle around her. She sat alone, a slight figure in an oversized hoodie, her tray of untouched Salisbury steak growing cold. One of the recruits, a broad-shouldered kid from Texas with a smirk that screamed entitlement, leaned in too close. "Hey, sweetheart," he drawled, "you lost? This ain't the cheerleader tryouts." The others laughed, a pack mentality echoing off the cinder-block walls. She didn't flinch, didn't speak, just lifted her eyes, storm grey, unblinking, and the laughter faltered. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss what happens next, because 2 minutes later, those 15 boys would be on their knees, begging for mercy from a woman they'd never forget. Her name was Petty Officer First Class Riley Kane, but no one in that room knew it yet. To them, she was just the civilian observer who'd been quietly sitting in on their drills all week, taking notes, never saying a word. The recruits had noticed her, of course. How could they not? She was the only woman in a sea of buzz cuts and bravado, and in their minds, that made her prey. The ringleader, Texas, slammed his palm on the table, rattling her fork. "Cat got your tongue, princess," he taunted. The others closed in tighter, their shadows swallowing her whole. One of them flicked her hood back, revealing a jagged scar that ran from her left ear to her collarbone. "Whoa, check out Scarface," another jeered. "Bet she got that falling off her boyfriend's motorcycle." The laughter roared again, but Riley's expression didn't change. She set her fork down with deliberate calm, the metal clinking like a warning bell. Then she stood. 5'6", maybe 130 pounds soaking wet. The recruits towered over her, grinning like wolves. Texas cracked his knuckles. "You gonna cry now, little girl?" That's when the air in the room shifted. Riley's voice, when it finally came, was low and steady like the rumble before a storm. "You have 10 seconds to back off." The recruits blinked, caught off guard by the steel in her tone. Texas laughed, but it was thinner now. "Or what?" he sneered. "You gonna call your daddy?" Riley's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. 10, she said. The room went quiet. 9. A few of the recruits shifted, uneasy. 8. Texas took a step forward, chest puffed out. 7. Riley's hands moved, so fast they blurred, snatching the metal tray off the table and whipping it like a frisbee. It caught Texas across the temple with a sickening clang, sending him staggering into his buddies. Before anyone could process what happened, she was moving. 6. Her elbow drove into the solar plexus of the recruit on her left, folding him in half. 5. A spinning kick caught another in the jaw, dropping him like a sack of potatoes. The mess hall erupted into chaos, trays clattering, chairs toppling, recruits shouting. But Riley was a blur of precision and fury. She wasn't fighting 15 boys. She was dismantling them. One tried to grab her from behind. She dropped low, swept his legs, and drove her knee into his spine as he hit the floor. Another lunged with a wild haymaker. She sidestepped, caught his arm, and used his momentum to slam him face first into a table. The scar on her neck seemed to pulse with every move, a reminder of battles fought in places these kids couldn't even pronounce. By the time she reached one, 10 recruits were on the ground, groaning, clutching bruised ribs or bleeding noses. The 5 still standing backed away, eyes wide with terror. Texas, blood trickling from his temple, tried to scramble to his feet. Riley was on him in an instant, her boot pressing lightly, but unmistakably, against his throat. "You disrespect a woman again," she said, her voice calm as a grave. "And I'll make sure you never forget it." The mess hall doors burst open. Drill Instructor Sergeant Morales stormed in, his face a mask of rage, until he saw Riley. His eyes flicked to the carnage, then to her. "Kane," he barked, "stand down." She stepped off Texas, saluted crisply. "Yes, sir." The recruits stared, dumbfounded, as Morales addressed them. "You idiots just picked a fight with a decorated Navy SEAL. Petty Officer Kane's got more confirmed kills than all your daddies combined. She's here observing because she's training to instruct your sorry asses." The room was silent except for the whimpers of the wounded. Riley picked up her tray, wiped a smear of blood off the edge, and sat back down. "Steak's cold," she muttered, almost to herself. Morales shook his head, fighting a grin. "Kane, you're a damn menace." She shrugged. "They started it, sir. But the story doesn't end with the beatdown, because later that night, in the dim glow of the barracks, something unexpected happened. Texas, real name Caleb, knocked on the instructor's quarters where Riley was staying. His face was swollen, his pride in tatters. "Ma'am," he said, voice cracking, "I'm sorry. I was an idiot." Riley studied him for a long moment, then stepped aside. "Come in." Over the next hour she didn't lecture him. She told him about the scar, how it came from a Taliban blade in Helmand province, how she dragged her wounded teammate 3 miles to safety while bleeding out herself. She told him about the teammate who didn't make it, and how every time she saw someone disrespect another person, she saw that kid's face. Caleb cried. Not the tough guy tears, but the kind that come from a soul being cracked open. "I joined up to be a man," he whispered. Didn't know what that meant till tonight. Riley handed him a tissue. "Being a man's got nothing to do with muscles, Caleb. It's about knowing when to stand up and when to shut up." Word of the mess hall incident spread like wildfire through the base. The recruits who'd been humbled that day became Riley's fiercest advocates. They started calling her Ghost after she ran their obstacle course in half the time of the fastest male recruit, moving like she was part of the shadows. She didn't just train them, she broke them down and built them back up, teaching them that strength wasn't about size or swagger, it was about heart. One recruit, a quiet kid from Ohio named Jenkins, had been on the verge of washing out. After Riley pulled him aside and taught him how to channel his fear into focus, he graduated top of his class. Years later, he'd write her a letter from a carrier in the Persian Gulf. "You saved my life before I even knew I needed saving." Riley's time at the base wasn't without cost. The higher-ups weren't thrilled about her unorthodox methods, and there were whispers of disciplinary action. But when a training accident left 3 recruits trapped in a collapsed mock building, guess who crawled through the rubble, ignoring her own fractured ribs to pull them out? The same woman who'd once been surrounded in a mess hall, the same woman who carried the weight of lost brothers and sisters in every step. The Navy didn't discipline her, they gave her a medal, and when she finally left the base, the recruits, her recruits, lined up to salute her. Caleb, now a squad leader, stepped forward. "Ma'am," he said, voice steady, "you taught us what it means to be warriors. We won't let you down." Riley's eyes glistened, but she didn't cry, she just nodded. "See that you don't." As she walked away, the sun setting behind her like a spotlight, one of the recruits whispered, "That's not a woman, that's a damn legend." And maybe she was, but to Riley Kane she was just a SEAL doing her job, protecting her team, her country, and the idea that no one, no matter how small they seem, should ever be underestimated. The mess hall fight wasn't about revenge, it was about respect. And in 2 minutes, 15 recruits learned a lesson they'd carry for the rest of their lives. So, from which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one.